So you've got the big idea, the game-changing business plan. But starting up is tough, and let's be real, finding the money can feel even tougher. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the world of small business grants. We're talking free money to fuel your dream without piling on debt. Let's jump right in.
I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you get the capital you need to grow without getting buried under loans? Well, that's exactly where grants come into play. They are an incredible tool for growth, without that constant weight of repayment.
All right, so what exactly is a small business grant? Put simply, it's funding you never have to pay back. Seriously. Think of it less like a loan and more like an investment in your vision, specifically designed to help you launch, innovate, or scale up.
And that's the absolute key difference right here. A grant is basically a gift to your business's cash flow. A loan, on the other hand, is a debt that you have to repay with interest. Now, what's the catch? Well, grants are way more competitive and come with some really strict rules. You definitely have to earn this so-called free money.
So just how competitive are we talking here? Well, this number, it kind of says it all. On average, only about 10% of people who apply for a grant actually get the funding. Now, I know that sounds intense, but don't let it scare you off. It just means you need a smarter, more targeted strategy to really stand out from the crowd. And that's exactly what we're going to build today.
So how do you beat those odds? Here's our game plan. We're going to look at the four main worlds of funding, help you find the grant that's a perfect fit for you, show you how to put together a killer application, and we'll even cover the common mistakes that can sink even the best ideas. Okay, first things first, we need to map out the territory. It is so important to understand where the money is actually coming from because, the source of a grant tells you a ton about its purpose and what the people funding it are really looking for. We're going to start with the heavy hitters, federal grants. This is money coming straight from the US government, often through places like the Small Business Administration or the SBA. These grants are usually focused on big picture stuff, like boosting the whole economy, pushing for new tech, or helping businesses trade internationally.
Now let's zoom in a little bit, down to the regional level. State and local grants are all about community impact. They're designed to give your local economy a shot in the arm, whether that means bringing a neighborhood back to life or supporting the key industries in your town.
Next up, we've got corporate grants. This is when big companies decide to fund smaller businesses. The key word here is alignment. A corporation wants to fund a startup that shares its mission or serves the same kind of customers. So for example, a big outdoor gear brand might give a grant to a small business that's focused on sustainability. Makes sense, right?
And finally, we have nonprofit grants. These come from foundations and other charitable groups. For them, it's less about the bottom line and way more about social impact. They're looking for businesses that are solving a specific problem in the community or pushing a social cause forward.
Okay, so now you know the four main buckets where grants come from. But with literally thousands of them out there, how in the world do you find the right one for you? Here's the secret. The goal isn't to apply for everything you see. It's to find your specific niche.
The trick is to get really specific. A lot of grants are targeted to entrepreneurs from underrepresented groups. Ask yourself, are you a woman, a person of color, a veteran? There are grants just for you. Is your business in a rural area or a very specific industry? The more you can narrow your focus, the better your chances are going to be.
And these niches, they're not just theories. Look at the Amber Grant. It's specifically for women entrepreneurs. The Boss Impact Fund, it's all about backing Black women founders. American Express has grants that reward businesses making a local impact. The whole point is to find the grant that perfectly matches your story and your mission.
So let's say you've found the perfect grant. Awesome. Now for the most important part, putting together an application that doesn't just get read, but gets noticed. Let's walk through the playbook for success.
Here is your 6-step checklist. 1. Know your industry inside and out. 2. Read the eligibility rules like your life depends on it. Don't waste a single second on a grant you can't actually win. 3. Frame what you do in a way that connects with their goals. 4. Have a crystal clear plan for how you'll use every dollar. 5. Sell them on your big vision for growth. And finally, number 6, be ready to back up every single promise you make.
This quote from Bill Botchand, the founder of Renew Therapy, really hits the nail on the head. Grant providers need to see that you actually understand your own numbers. You don't have to be some kind of financial genius, but having a solid grip on your financials, well, it shows you're a responsible leader who's going to make smart decisions with their money.
All right, let's flip the script for a second. Learning what not to do is honestly just as important as knowing what you should do. If you understand the most common reasons people get rejected, you can steer clear of that rejection pile yourself.
So here they are, the top 3 deal breakers. First, a weak or incomplete business plan. If your plan has holes or just doesn't seem realistic, that's a huge red flag. Second, failing to meet the basic eligibility. It sounds so simple, but you'd be surprised how many people trip up on this. And third, just not standing out. If the review committee can't see what makes you special in about 30 seconds, your application is just gonna get lost.
But let's turn these mistakes into strengths. Is your business plan feeling a little weak? Beef it up with concrete milestones and financial projections. Not sure if you're eligible? Read that fine print again. And hey, don't be afraid to just contact them and ask. And to make sure you stand out, clearly define your unique value. What problem are you solving that nobody else is? And why is your solution the one they should bet on?
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's this. Yes, winning a grant is hard. That 10% success rate is very real. But it is not a lottery. It's a game of strategy. By finding the right niche for you, by aligning your mission with the grantors, and by turning in a polished, powerful application, you can absolutely make this happen.
We've given you the map and we've given you the playbook. The journey from needing funding to getting it without the debt is right here in front of you. So really the only question left to ask is, what's your first step going to be?